And this is going to be a story of a very interesting and humiliating thing that happened in my life. So, I'm not sure how long this has gone on for, but every week when I talk to my dad on the phone, he asks me if I have any good news. So I tell him I still have a job, that's good news, right? But I know this is not the good news that he's obviously fishing for. My dad wants to hear that I found the girl of my dreams, his future daughter-in-law, and that she can't wait to start pumping out the grandchildren. Like I said, this has been a recent addition to our phone conversations, and it doesn't look like it'll be going away anytime in the near future. So when these conversations began, I think I was amused by the fact that my dad was talking to me about girls. I embraced being a bachelor, using the cliche, "I'm happy being single," whenever anyone brought up dating, and quickly dismissed the good news question whenever it came up. Over time, that happiness of being single started to dissipate, and the itch to find a significant other started to show up, to my chagrin. It's not that I don't want to be in a relationship, it's that I usually get stuck in the friend zone, and it's not because I can't initiate, it's just that I'm not the type for the girls that I chase. So after doing some chasing and being shot down, I turned my attention to a certain popular dating service. I found a deal for a 3-month trial and decided to give it a shot, since 3 months of this service would only cost me the equivalent of a video game. I often found myself frustrated. I didn't have a problem with the service, I just ended up talking to a lot of people who only check the site once in a blue moon. I can be a bit of an anxious person, and I like to be in like a rhythm, so perhaps this dating service doesn't really fit with my personality. I don't expect to hear responses every day, but I think waiting a week for some people to answer a basic question is also too long. Then I found Whitney. Whitney's a very cute, very smart girl and has a sense of humor. The fact that she was in the Midwest in a Chicago suburb called Naperville wasn't going to deter me from getting to know her, especially since I grew up in the Midwest and I'm not against moving back there at some point. We found a nice rhythm, and I didn't find any red flags with her. She didn't seem crazy. She was just sick of the bar scene and wanted to find someone serious, and apparently didn't care if that guy was across the country. We only knew each other by first name, and at a certain point I gave her my personal email address, which has my full name in it, hoping to move things along, or we would actually talk on the phone or fly out to see each other, or however this works. But I guess this is where I messed things up. So I have a blog, and you should know it's not like a personal blog where I talk about all my issues or I talk about my ex-girlfriends or anything like that. I just write short stories about my life like I'm doing right now. At the time of my correspondence, my most recent post was about how my friend thinks that this little kid at church looks a lot like me and how they could be my kid. It's become an inside joke between a bunch of my friends, so I decided to write about it in a creative way. Would you guys like to hear this letter that I wrote?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Dear wife in the future, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I apologize for not knowing your name or what pet names we go by. It's possible that I haven't met you yet, though it's also possible that I already know you. I can't be sure since our daughter, who you sent to the past, looks exactly like me. I'm not sure how time travel works since it hasn't been invented yet, and I also have a very poor knowledge of how the Terminator movies work. So please excuse me for not knowing how I should react to all of this. I'm actually not sure if Chloe knows what she's supposed to do either. From my understanding, she should be sent to the past to save me, her father, right? She seems quite preoccupied with protecting this baby Cole, who she claims is her brother. I realize she's a very bright kid, so I assume that maybe something got messed up during the time travel, or maybe that she was supposed to get sent back further into the past where I was a baby. I'm not sure. I haven't seen an episode of Quantum Leap in ages. Would it have been too much to ask to have sent Chloe to the past with like a note taped to her back or something? Also, while I know I've been broke since getting out of college, I think I'd appreciate taking care of my own daughter instead of tricking some couple to take care of her. But perhaps she and I are not supposed to interact or be cognizant of each other. I was pretty in the dark about this whole deal until Becky, I don't know if you know Becky, but I play electric guitar for her in the present. She told me about the similarities between us. Don't worry, I haven't told Chloe about that. She's obviously on some sort of mission from the future, and I don't want to confuse her. Of course, I'm very, very confused about everything that's going on right now. Is she supposed to stop someone else from the future from assassinating me? How many years away is this event? Isn't she a little young for this? Is she just going to tell me to stop eating so much Korean fried chicken? Because believe me, I'm trying to stop it. I'm trying to exercise more. When I see her, I always want to yell at the other kids when they play too rough, but I try to keep my distance from her. There are too many movies and shows about time travel, so I'm not sure what rules I need to adhere to. I'm just going to assume that we're not going by time cop rules, or we might be royally screwed. Also, when you write me back, can you tell me when we start dating? While I have friends who are happy to be single, I'm actually pretty miserable. Also, please tell me that I found a way to get out of Irvine. Thanks. So, I know Whitney visited my site because I have Google Analytics, and no one from the suburb of Naperville, Illinois ever visits my site. You could call this stalking, but she stalked me first by looking up my website, so I think we're even. She never wrote to me again, so I can't be sure this is exactly the reason that we stopped talking. But since I'm a writer and she left the ending to our online relationship open-ended, I'd like to believe that she was scared off about the story of my future child. And do you know what? If she can't accept that's our kid, maybe I don't want to be with her anyways. Thank you.